Okay guys, welcome back. So a little bit different this time. You can't see me. All you can see is my desk. Is what we're going to talk about in this section is kind of a clever, inexpensive way to get your seedlings started, and that's using paper pots or newspaper pots. You can see just a little pot. They do offer some advantages. Number one, they're free. Number two, you can usually get them a little deeper. So if you look at this and were to compare it to one of my cell packs, it's actually a good 3/4 of an inch deeper than my cell pack, about the same size up here. So it actually offers some extra space for the roots, which is nice. Like I say, super cheap, inexpensive to make. There are some commercially available products out there that you can buy, and it's kind of like a pestle that you wrap the newspaper around and then it crushes the end and kind of forms the end. If you'd like to buy one of those, I'm sure they're great and I'm sure they work great, but not really necessary. All I use is just a 1.5 inch piece of PVC pipe. The nice thing about these is though, you can vary your size. Now you can't vary your size. I wouldn't think you're going to be able to get a paper pot that big to hold up, but you can go a little bit bigger than this, and I've seen people who make them with, like, for example, a drinking glass. That gives you about a 2-inch pot. So it kind of depends on your needs and what you need. Pretty straightforward process. I would prefer to use newspaper that doesn't have colored print. The reason why is there's some debate in the gardening world as to whether or not this colored print has chemicals and leads in them that we really don't want with our seedlings. But I don't take the newspaper anymore, and I don't know if you guys are the same, but I don't get the newspaper, and so this is about all we get is some of that, money mailer things that we get in the mail. So I'm going to use that for the example, but if you can, I would use a regular black and white newsprint because there's less chemicals in the inks than there is here. So this is just a standard size piece of newspaper, and what we're going to do is we're going to tear it in half at the fold, and then we are going to tear it in half again. So we'll open it up and tear it in half again. Okay, so pretty straightforward there. Then you're going to take it and fold it this way. Give it a good crease. And then you simply wrap it around your whatever it is that you're using. Now, I like them to be a little bit deeper so that I have a little extra room for the roots. Makes them kind of a little top heavy, but once you get the soil and the water in them, it doesn't matter quite so much. So all you need to do here is just wrap it up, wrap it around, and then I just use a little piece of tape. You could use a staple, you could use paste. There's some organic pastes out there made out of like wheat and things like that if you're really worried about that. When I plant these kinds, I actually peel the newspaper off before I put it in the ground. You don't have to do that. You can put the entire pot in the ground. The roots will break free of the soft newspaper, and they will, that newspaper will just break down and kind of turn into compost. But I kind of prefer to peel it off to give the roots the extra boost when I put it in the ground. All you do from here is just kind of fold this end up. I like to, you can see it's got a little bit extra here on the end. So I simply just clip that little bit off. You can deal with that by using a smaller piece of paper. Kind of close it up and slap it down with another piece of tape. And there we go. So that's our newspaper pot. Then you just fill it up with soil, and you're going to always water these from the bottom. The newspaper will soak up good. Here's a couple that I have already filled with soil, and I've also watered them so you can see they're wet. If you just water them from the bottom in your container, then it will soak into the soil and keep things nice and moist. These will hold together fairly well. Remember, when you're doing seed starting, you're not really moving those starts around much, so there's absolutely no reason why you can't just leave those in that newspaper. After 4 to 6 weeks, your starts will be big enough that there'll be a nice solid root ball in there, and you can either plant them directly in the soil with the newspaper if you want, or you can peel that newspaper off and the roots will hold the root ball together Now I would do this just as you're planting it, peel that newspaper off and stick it in the ground. So up to you, very inexpensive though, you don't have to pay for anything. Depending on how sensitive you are to chemicals and things like that, you could choose to use just the black and white paper. You could also choose to use some kind of an organic paste instead of the tape, or you could use a staple if you wanted, anything like that. So kind of a fun method. You're just going to plant your seeds right here. I'll actually plant these and then I'll do an amendment to this video later on so that you guys can see, you know, things actually growing in this pot. So pretty straightforward. And that is newspaper seedling pots. Hey guys, this is Rick Stone here. Did you like what you saw in this video? Well, if you did, there's a lot more available for you on udemy.com. This video is actually an excerpt from my Seed Starting Simplified video course, which is a 3-hour course that covers everything you need to know to learn how to grow your own seedlings for your garden indoors. This course normally sells on Udemy for $20, but if you go down in the description section, there is a link that will take you to Udemy and give you the course for 25% off. So that's only $15 for 3 hours worth of video instruction. Wow, I need to rethink that. I'm making less than minimum wage on that one, aren't I? Anyways, great deal, and it's a great course. I enjoyed filming it, so please go take it. And then while you're at it, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks.